fly. I be rolling with you, mommy, I be feeling the motion. When I'm inside you, I be deep as the ocean. When it comes to your love, can't lie, it be strong as a potion. That's why me and you forever be coasting. Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's going on, man? Welcome back to another one, man. Sparking Conversation. I am your boy, Rod One. I don't know why I feel crooked. Yo, what's going on? Everybody out there, I appreciate y'all as always for jumping on and rocking out with us on Tuesday evenings, each and every Tuesday, man. Y'all come out here and y'all show us love, and I definitely appreciate that. And shout out to all of y'all that download the audio version of this podcast, man, because y'all are the real warriors, y'all the real champions out there. Because, like I said, for the people who just want to tune in to hear what we got to say each and every week, I just think that's dope. Because now we in this digital age where everything is about the visual, right? Now, on top of that, you got AI going crazy out here when it come down to the visual of everything. So it's kind of hard to know sometimes if you're looking at what you really like. What you really looking at is what it really is. So I wanted to talk. I wanted to start the show off tonight with just saying, y'all got pay attention, please. Pay attention, y'all. It's all kind of new scams going on out here. All right, all kind of new ways of people to try to get into your business, get into your accounts, and take your money. Now, remember, the way that economy is changing, it's not necessarily changing based on, we understand that the paper dollar and how they're trying to really totally get rid of that so they can control the people based on the new digital currency, but not necessarily the digital currency that's on the blockchain. So this is no way am I promoting or marketing cryptocurrency for people to go out there and buy. I hope that what I say every time we get up here and we talk about different things, it just gives you spark you in a way that makes you want to go at least investigate and go find out what it is and what it's about and what does decentralized really mean and what does it mean to really take back your freedom, right? Or to really get ready for what's going on financially in the world and be a part of it without you understanding that they're going to force you into a place, but then when they force you there, it's going to be something that's going to be out of your control. Where right now you could get into things and it could be all in your control no matter what anybody else decides to do. And I think that's the most important thing because look, they have a whole bunch of things going on coming up in May. In May, we'll be going to the so reparations. Reparations has been something that's been on the table for a long time now. According to recent studies, they've been talking about it for longer than it's been really out in the public right now. So let's just say for the last 30 or 40 years or so, let's just give it that much time. They've been talking about reparations for those that they consider African Americans. But the reason why all these other countries and other people and other, diaspora people figure out they got a way that they can get reparations for things they do or whatever is because I don't really think they got enough money that they could really pay us what would we be owed. You know what I mean? Now worth is a totally different thing, but owed, I don't really think they got enough money for that. Like, think about it. Right now they're scared that the government gonna shut down in a few days, and I think, what make it so crazy, uh the government shutting down because they saying they don't have enough money, but it's the same government that's been sending taxpayer money over there to a war for a bunch of people that they trying to figure out ways to try to get them into a group, into NATO. Like it's really weird, right? Like how they get ready to say, okay, the government about to be shut down for a few days coming up. At least that's what they're talking about. It kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, definitely, right? Like, it makes you wonder, like, exactly what the real plan is. And then it's right in front of your face. But the one thing that we don't do is that we don't prepare, right? I think what happens is people can see exactly what's going on, but they don't want to do nothing about it, right? Because they're waiting. Because I think what happens is individually people look at themselves and wherever they are financially or whatever they are as far as their family base and things are, and they just feel like they're safe. Or it's just them. And this is all until you realize what the power of coming together really means. And it's something that we don't talk about enough because anytime that conversation is brought up, the one thing that people want to do is they want to start talking about oh, that's not what we do, and we can't do that. And they give you all the reasons why we can't get together or come together or do the right thing or pool resources, but they always tell us why we can't. And it's really weird. But at some point, I promise y'all gonna be forced into a space where you're gonna have to think about it. And you're gonna have to figure out a way to get around it. Because I promise y'all, without pooling your resources together, coming together, creating the life that you want, I'm telling you, you ain't gonna be able to live on no island. You're gonna need people. So that's just me talking to y'all. Y'all know how we do each and every week. We get up here, we try to drop y'all with some type of knowledge, right? Something that maybe y'all could go back and check out later. But okay, so tonight, tonight's show is gonna be very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my cousin Noel, man. I see you in the building, bro. Appreciate you for tapping in with us tonight. You know what I mean? We gotta get you on the show, man. It's a lot you got going on too. So we gotta get you on too. But tonight's show, right? We got a young lady named Miss Holmes that's gonna come on and she's gonna join us. And y'all know, uh, on this platform, man, we do it all, right? We talk about everything, but we also allow people to come on here and give their story and tell the things that the news won't tell. Get the information out to the people that really need to know what's going on out here. And tonight's guest is coming from us by way of Georgia, and it's a lot of things that go on in the southern states, y'all. And particularly, it affects us, those that look like us. And the most terrible thing about it, that's where most of us are. And yet, the things that we're dealing with, we're still dealing with the same things that our people dealt with. We're still dealing with the same things that our ancestors dealt with. And it's crazy because I hear things like, Candace Owens, one time I heard something that she was saying, and she made a lot of sense. But then I thought about it. She was saying, y'all, you know what I mean? I'm not going to walk around here with this idea that I've been victimized, like, because my grandfather, he really lived through Jim Crow, and my great grandmother, she really lived through, these things. And there's no way that I didn't suffer those things. So I'm not going to act like those things affect me now. And I understand what she mean when she say that because of the opportunities and the things that we don't do and we have right in front of our face. How many times we've been given something and we go run down to the Gucci store with that paper. But then I say to myself, nah, she bugging. In the same token, because if you go to some of these states and you see that they still operating in laws that affected those people that she considered dear to her, her grandmother, her great grandmother, and her grandfather. Those laws are still in the books in these counties and states. That's the thing that's crazy, is that so many people want us to turn away from that and get away from that whole fact, and got us thinking that we acting like we victims, and then at the same time, none of these people are taking the opportunity to say, hey, do you know in these counties and these places that you talking about where your grandparents used to live and all that, the laws that they had back then are still active right now today because none of the people that you talking about, even yourself, fought to get those laws changed. Do you know that they have these things still going on? We had Attorney Mitchell on my show, and she told us like some of the counties in North Carolina alone are still operating on laws that was enacted in the 1800s right now. So although we like to think that we're not being affected by the things that the elders went through, we still are by something simple like a traffic violation. A traffic violation to get you locked up for a year in certain counties, if depending on how they feel. So tonight we're gonna talk about another state. We're gonna talk about another southern state, Georgia. This young lady has gone through something and it's considered a tragedy, right? Because she lost a child, a 19-year-old child, due to what they say, not what he did. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring her on and we're gonna let her tell the story and we're gonna let her get it out there. And like I always say to my people that's watching, if y'all watching right now, if you're not subscribed, wherever you're watching at on X, if you're on YouTube, just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you know when we go live and you know when clips drop. And you can keep up to date with everything we're doing because we're gonna keep bringing y'all the stories, y'all, regardless. All right. So listen, I'm gonna bring the crew up. Well, we got Meek in the building. Let me see what she got going on. Meek, what's going on?
What's up? How you
Man,
doing?
how you doing?
Yeah, your shit sucks. Either your head's crooked, your glasses crooked, or your headphone. I don't know, but
Jump
this
cricket,
new.
right? And then
Yeah,
you know what?
something's
You,
off.
you know what's crazy though? Like as I'm looking in front of me trying to adjust it, it's like the opposite, and I ain't got. I ain't got that type of coordination.
You know, I'm just
Yo,
let it
what up,
ride.
yeah, I
just,
feel like you're
just
taking the
hold your
whole
head a
headphone
little.
off, yo. Word, I feel like I'm leaning, like I need a V8. Cat, what up, yo?
Hey,
Remember
what up? What up?
y'all remember those commercials where they used to show people leaning until they got a V8?
That made life better. A VA. It's crazy.
Vegetable juice. They had mad salt in that one too,
Yeah,
yo.
like bro, who was sitting around and said, "Bro, let's juice these tomatoes and let's drink tomato juice."
Right.
Yeah, I
But then
mean,
now you can hardly find it anyway. They make the juices, but they don't make the vegetable juice no
Make
more.
the blends now with the fruit in it,
Maybe it used to be good for us. Anything that's good for us, you can't find no more.
bro. You can't find Tang anymore. That wasn't good for us.
Well, I'm glad we can't find that no more. That shit was terrible.
You know.
All right, yo, but look, so tonight, y'all know what it is, man. We're gonna get to it, man, because we're gonna try to give this young lady as much time as she needs. So, like we say in the briefing, I sent y'all the information already, so y'all already know what's going on. But to those of y'all that are watching live, I want y'all to keep in mind, like as we always do when these shows happen, and we have our guests on that really got to get up here and talk that talk. That if it ever happens to you, you definitely will want somebody to support you. You will want a place where you can get the word out because you know that your local news and stuff like that not gonna put this stuff out here, right? So you want to have a place like that. So just take have a little bit of empathy for the people that we have on because things be serious. So let's bring up Miss Holmes real quick. There she go. How you doing, Miss
Hi,
Holmes?
how are you guys? Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So listen, this is what we want to do real quick. For the people that are watching, we want you to introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about what's going on with you.
Okay, my name is VAKELIAN Holmes. I'm the mother of Eric Holmes. We're from Georgia. My son was murdered in Plainfield, Georgia, 19 years old. But that's who I am. I'm Eric's mother, and I'm here to tell my story and hopefully help someone else.
Right, right, right. So 19-year-old son. And I we have a lot of mothers on here, right? Like recently, we've had a lot of moms on. I think that's how you even, what even made you reach out to me
Yeah.
and understand, like, dad, you moms are trying your best to raise your children the best way possible, right? Like everything that you possibly can do to give them an opportunity. And it seems like no matter what we do, even when your children are not doing something wrong happens to our children. It
I
just, it
say it is, you can't prepare them not to die. And I think that was my thing. I used to tell them certain things. I took them to the police as soon as they got of age, that you may have gotten rebellious. I thought that would help. Well, I'm going to bring them down here. I'm not gonna allow the system to charge my child before I do. And I thought that would help. But unfortunately, my son walked outside of his job, went to the officer, and was still murdered. So my ways of thinking, hey, well, if the officer come up, you introduce yourself or it killed them. And so I just realized no matter what you do, like I said, I took him to the police. First time coming in, might have just been 10 o'clock at night. It was on a Halloween. But at that time, they were saying that if the kids are out late, they're going to punish the parents. Um, I tried to do everything in the park up until age 1 to get out of the park. Um, I don't know. There's no book to parenting. And I try to tell people because what we get faced with is, oh, the parent and you didn't raise the child right, or you allowed the child to get away. And they don't understand that my child was at work. He walked outside. You guys seen that on video. And he
right,
was still taken.
right. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to us. They think that we just make up these stories like we want somebody to feel sorry for us in the event that we don't. Like who wants to walk around here and just be in fear? Like, or who wants to walk around here and just feel like they want attention based on something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
you gotta give yourself, like, people, it's just a lot of nasty people out here right now. So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about the son, man. So um Do you want to talk about where he was working at when this happened, or are you not
Okay.
allowed to talk about certain things and stuff like that?
All right. So he was working at IGM, which is International Granite and Marble. Prior to that, he was working at Hormel Foods. My son been working since he was 16 years old. He had a child at a young age, but he took care of his child. And he told me, he said, Mama, he said, I'm 16. He said, but I don't plan on going on college because he had learned how to work on cars. And so he didn't plan on going to college, but he allowed his child's mother to graduate. She did graduate after he died. Um, I'm asking him, pull the work history. You would see my boy work. You also, they said that he stole a vehicle. Well, now they're saying that the vehicle was not stolen based on the reports. And had they checked, he was a registered car owner at the time of his murder. With registered valid insurance in his name, had just paid car insurance on Sunday night. We murdered him on a Monday morning. Um, and that's pretty much the story of Eric. He was 19 years old, murdered at work by an officer that should have never been on the force. He had failed his firearm training, was not certified, had 2 previous use of force, unnecessary use of force, and several reprimands, but he was still on the force to kill my son.
Wow. And
So
you said something real interesting earlier about there's no book on parenting. And no matter what, parents are gonna still get blamed for whatever outcome that they say
mhm,
the child is facing.
mhm.
So
Oh,
I was thinking about that. So Kev, let me ask you something real quick. You know, if when you think about this, right? Like I was talking to Tamika earlier offline, and I was saying to you, like when you go to work, right? That's the one place that people say you're supposed to stay out of that. You keep you out of trouble.
Hmm.
Would you agree with that or not?
Yeah, I mean
no,
that's you wouldn't. I mean that's
no,
where
No,
we.
they say no. I'm talking about in the sense of what is being said. Like they say, like yo, if being at work, you be at work, you won't be in trouble. Or if you do, or the places, or if you was at home, you wouldn't be. That people throw these narratives around, but then you have cases like what you're going through, Miss Holmes, where no, that wasn't the case. You were in the place where he was supposed to be, and something still happened, right? So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying you, Kev. That's why I'm asking Kev. Like, what do you think about that, Kev?
Yeah, like I was saying, it's one of those things where our elders, that's what they always told us. Before it was work, it was school. Hey, go to school every day, stay out of these streets. Because if you in school, you can't be in trouble because you're not out here doing who knows what with who knows what, where you're in
Right,
the place you're supposed to be. We traded that in for 8 hours, 9 hours at work. Hey, you're not spending money when you're at work, you're not in the streets, you're not getting into trouble, you are in a safe place, is what we were taught and what we, normally think. My friends call, hey man, we about to go something. Nah, bro, I'm at work. I work till 6. I can't go.
right,
So a lot of times that saved me from being in car rides I shouldn't have been in, going places I shouldn't have went, especially when I worked retail. So I'm working weekends, I'm working nights. It kept me out of a lot of trouble. And that's kind of how we were kind of raised, that going to work, going to school, doing things like that, being in these places and these establishments would keep us safe. And
gotcha.
it would keep us safe from, what's out there in the world, what's out there in the streets, because you're perceived differently as a working man versus a man that's just out walking in the middle of the night. You're
Right,
perceived differently as a man on campus than a man who is out at the liquor store. So we were supposed to be perceived differently, is how
gotcha.
it was, branded to me when I was a kid. Look like you're supposed to be where you are and always walk with purpose. So that's how I was raised.
I feel you.
I agree
And
with you. That's
yeah,
what I. I was taught. That's what I did. Okay, well, and he did it himself. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna take care of my son, and I'm gonna pick up this little trade. And he was doing mechanic work. Um, and that's what we did. And we also say, hey, you go to school, you will stay out of trouble. That's what we were taught. But now we
right,
realize these kids are going to school getting in trouble. The
yeah,
drugs and everything else you want them to stay away from is at school. Our
Right.
boys are dying on the way to work. You know what I'm saying? Some are not even making it to work. Nine made it to work. But you got men that are dying on the way to work. Jordan's Lights, Jermaine Smith, different ones. You can call them out, and it's like they were on the way to work.
Right.
Like, the traffic stops are killing us now.
Right.
Going to school is killing us now. You know, you're afraid for them to go to school. I remember my kids were in school, and just so happened I had the Instagram page logged in because that's the only how they had it. If you on social media, I have to be able to log in. So they were in 9th and 10th grade, and I'm watching fight pop up on social media, and I'm rushing up to the school like, "Hey, it's a fight about to break." You know, it's
Right.
very
Yeah, you're right. And that's the one thing about it is like we try, you know, as parents, like you said that earlier, and it is really true. And that's why I was gonna ask you, me, like in the sense of what she said earlier about how the parents get blamed, right? No matter what goes on in these situations, the parents get blamed, right? Because what's the first thing they say? Oh, well, the parent wasn't around, or they must have been this, or they must have been that. And then you, like we talk about stuff all the time. Like, no, like a lot of times we as individuals, when we go through things, it don't really be us that be, we be in the right place at the right time. So what
Mm-hmm.
you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to blame the parents. Easy to say, "Oh, they wasn't raised right. That's why they doing whatever they were doing, or that's why they were in the situation that they were in." It's an easy scapegoat, but they don't realize how many things did you do that your parents didn't want you to do. Like, we all disobey our parents at some point. It don't matter what our parents have instilled in us. You can have 3 kids who grew up in the same household and they all different.
Yeah.
It don't matter. So saying that it came from whoever raised them, that shit don't make sense to me, because everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own traits. Everybody has their own thing. So all the parenting in the world doesn't change who they are. Like, they are who they are.
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's how we are. Like let's put it in perspective, right? Most of the time when we deal with the police, we have to be in such of a, hey, I surrender, right? We have to go to them opened up like this basically all the time when it shouldn't be
Facts.
that way. You get what I'm saying? Like, listen, this young man was a tax paying citizen, which means that whatever salary, whatever pension, whatever thing that they got going on, this young man was contributing to them being possible, for that to be possible, for them to be able to do whatever they do with their family. Right, and then at any given time, they don't look at the people that they're supposed to protect in the same value that they would think about their own children. They are be so quick to take and do something from a person that they feel deemed that they got the power to do so, and they don't think about the ramifications on how we got to continue our lives with that one decision that they made, and then they go home and they kiss and hug their family knowing that this person that they just violated is not going to be able to do the same, yo. So, Miss Holmes, I want you to tell. I know for sometimes when we go through these type of scenarios, when we hear these stories, anger comes about, right? We want to have better relations in the community between the police and the community. But this right here is just something that brings out a little bit of anger when these stories are told. So, in your quest to find out or to seek justice, how has that been for you dealing with this, being that it's the police involved?
I had 7 charges within 3 months. The officer was charged for being serious. He was charged for murder. He was charged for aggravated assault. They gave him 7 charges. However, I don't know anything about that. So when community activists and the state, their officials come about and present information and they're
Hold on,
expressing it,
hold on,
all I know is this was going on.
Miss Holmes. Hold on for a second. Your
So,
your connection is choppy. It's not your audio is it's like it's choppy. So what you're saying is not necessarily
Okay.
coming through. We want to make sure people can hear you. It's like it's choppy.
Can
Wherever
you
you
hear
are,
me now?
yeah, we can hear you. It's just I guess are you moving?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone was I was driving.
Okay, yeah. Because
Someone
you move.
driving.
What's happening is like you're talking, but it's going in and out because you're moving. So I guess your signal is jumping on towers. So we probably gonna have to wait. Wait, are you on your way somewhere where you could get still? Because I really want people to get your message out. You know what I mean? So we want to
Oh,
make
I'm
sure.
about to. I'm about to be somewhere right now. Like I'm pulling over. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm about to pull over, but like I said, it was 7 charges in the beginning.
Right.
Then the DA was revealed for covering up child molestation. Once that happened, she immediately took the charges down.
Wait, hold on. So the DA was. Wait, say that one more time.
Wait, what?
So my son had 7 murder charges. The officer got 7 charges.
Right.
Once the
Officer at
officer received
7.
those 7 charges, Georgia Bureau in the investigation said he was wrong. She said he was wrong. Everyone said he was wrong. One of their community leaders ended up releasing that the DA was over a child molestation cover up. And once that got released up under my son's name, the charges was automatically dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait. So what you're saying is the person who was prosecuting this officer on behalf of the state was brought up on charges from something unrelated, and it caused this case to get thrown out.
Pretty much. So it was, well, she didn't have charges, but it was brought up that she was the board chair over the over this group home. She was the board chair. She had been covering up since 2019 what had been going on with this molestation. Even
Wow.
one of the workers was fired for molestation and hired back the next week. All of this is in reports, you guys. All you have to do is look up the Rainbow House. Well, that information was released during the time that my son was going through, he was going through.
Right.
And because it was being pushed out through the advocates and everybody saying it, she comes back and say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to go back up for charges. The first grand jury didn't find him guilty, and we're not going back for charges."
And
7 charges. How can they not find him guilty on 7 charges, including violation of oath, which should have been an automatic? He had 2 prior uses of forces. He beat up a man that was hearing impaired and speech impaired 2 months prior to killing my son. You guys, it runs so deep. The DA, I don't know if you're familiar with a story down here where the mayor of Jonesboro was just released for pulling out a gun on an officer. Guess who released her? That same DA, her same sorority sister. So the corruption goes so deep. And I guess once I just thought I was fighting police brutality, right? Even though
right.
my son made him file for the state of Georgia, I didn't know a DA was covering child molestation. I didn't know that the chief's sons had committed 2 armed robberies and the DA released him, both of them in a 3 months time. I knew none of that. But all of this out there in reports. So after you dropped those 7 charges, I began to go in everything that we had on. And so now I've just been blackballed through the cameras.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, that
So,
that's
so
different. What you gonna say,
it's
Kev?
very interesting because something like this is going on. When I was in Mexico, I was watching the news, and they had brought up the lady who was prosecuting Trump's case, the black
Oh
lady.
yeah. Fannie Willis.
Yeah, so they did the same type of thing. They brought up some dirt on her to
Mm-hmm.
try to basically dirty and muddy up any cases that she's a part of, so they will all get thrown out. So
Yeah.
these tactics are out there, and they use them when it's to their advantage. You
Yeah.
know, where is this when it goes to our advantage? You know, these judges that are dirty out here, these lawyers that are dirty, you know, the medical board and the things that they've covered up. Where
Right.
are those things? Where are these smoking guns that they've been hiding in a folder when it's to our benefit? It only comes out when
Right.
it's to our detriment.
Yeah.
I don't live in the state of Georgia. I had to look up something really quick. Here in North Carolina, fun fact, here in North Carolina, grand theft auto is considered grand larceny, and it's a maximum of 48 months prison, $1,000 fine is the max that you can get. In Georgia, you can get 10 years or $100,000 fine is the max. So it's not a death penalty thing. So the fact that that officer went as far as he did, and then to come to find out that it was a young man's car that when you run the plate, you know who it's registered to.
You know everything.
I get pulled over all the time. Driving while black, I get pulled over all the time. And I don't think people understand the amount of stress and pressure that is on you when you are being confronted by a police officer. The best thing that could happen for us is that we get a ticket. That's the best thing that could happen. Give me a ticket, please. Please give me a ticket. Because if you take me out this car, you might try to take my life away from me over a routine traffic stop. This woman right here raised her son to comply, to listen, to engage, to try to be as helpful as possible, and do everything that you're supposed to do when it comes to communicating with the officers of the law. And this person was just not qualified. This person has proven that he wasn't fit to be an officer. He had proven. I mean, what's the point of all this training to de-escalate situations? You have all this non-lethal training. You got a whole utility belt of things that you can use. But once again, this is a car that when you run the plate, you know exactly, it's not just the name. My picture is going to show up. So you're going to know who I am. So you're going to know if the person that you're looking at is the person that you're registered to. You're going to know it. You're going to know my address. And if you're at my place of employment, and I think I read on there that the boss came out and asked Eric to come back into work. So you know that this man is where he is supposed to be, and someone from inside the building has just verified that this person is where they're supposed to be. And if you don't need anything else, we would like for him to come back to the place where he is gainfully employed.
Exactly.
So I think people who don't take the time to read stories, people who don't take the time to do anything, or just like, oh, he probably, no. The only crime is being a black man in America. And there's a stigma with that. There's a stigma, and I don't care what anyone has to say. I know how it feels to get pulled over, and I have to tend to. And I don't move my hands until the officer has fully approached my car, looked all around my car, and they feel safe. I got pulled over today. They called 2 additional officers. I pulled you over because you jumped out in front of me. My light turned green. Yours turned red. I went on green. You flicked your lights when I turned. So you were going to run the light, and you're mad that I went ahead and went on my turn.
And as usual, a lot of times we have to deal with people who feel like they could do what they want. The way they wake up in the morning and what they feel is the way that they move, and they go around acting like they're better than people, and like that thing that they feel like, that crew, that team, that gang, like it's a thing. It's no different than people who are in gangs and stuff like that. You notice that the people who can't fight be the ones who really are the toughest when they got their crew around, because they know that they got people who got their back. And then in the police situation, they don't understand. Like a lot of people, like the people we don't want those issues, fam. Like, yo, do what you gonna do, say what you gonna say, but ain't nobody is saying to you like, yo, we trying not to go home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, son, yo, how you feel? Like, yo, I bet you said my car stolen. All right, yo, run it, B. Like, who steal a car and go to work?
Exactly.
No.
And the thing is, I want to clear up. The car is not his car. He is a registered car owner. The car now belongs to a young lady that gave 3 different statements to how her car was stolen. Eric had the keys to her car, everything. So now they're saying, oh, the car is not stolen. She lied, but Eric is dead for this car. Why would he walk outside to you if you're out here in a stolen car and he's gonna come and say, "Hey, officer, I'm in this warehouse building. I'm the one in this stolen car." Come on.
Nobody would do that. Common sense is very well alive. Now we know there's a lot of people who don't use it. We know a lot of people personally who don't use it, but that's not the case. The case is still it's out here. You know what I'm saying for you. And like I said, nobody wants to do that to go to work. Like if a person is going to commit a crime, and hopefully it's for some money. Like not just to be doing something like yo, ain't nobody gonna steal a car. Like, yo, let me practice. Like no, like you trying to get money if that's what you doing, right? What's up, Cal?
So have charges been brought up on this young lady who has changed her story 3 times, and her false police report resulted in the death of a young man? Was she brought up on charges?
No, she was not. And she was not. She's also a Caucasian female, 37 years of age. To my understanding, who knows Eric, okay? So no, she was not. The county where the car was reportedly stolen from, they also told her in the police report that the car was not stolen. It is in the police report. So why would you guys, if you're telling her that a car is not stolen, why would you radio into Clayton County if you have a stolen car in their county the next day?
Right.
That's escalating a situation instead of de-escalating. That's, and that's the thing. I mean, I had to look it up. Even if that was the case, allow the young man to have his day in court.
But
Allow him.
she said something interesting, though, Cam. She said something interesting. The lady was a Caucasian woman.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
listen.
You see a lot of times the people get mad. Like you think about it. This particular officer, right, probably got mad that a young black man was driving this white lady's. This. You get what I'm saying? When
right, you don't know the association, and they still they look down on
that relationship or like
interracial connection. I'll just say connection. I don't know if it was a relationship. I don't know.
We don't know, right? We can't speculate, but we know that it has to be a connection because he's driving the car.
Yeah.
Right? With the key.
Yeah.
Not screwdriver.
The
right?
key. And leave the keys in there with
hey, maybe. Yes, with the key.
With the keys. So obviously there's a relationship of some sort,
association,
whatever association or whatever with the young lady. So in that regard, a lot of times, which is sad to say, that people get into their own bag and their own feelings when it comes down to racism and how they feel. You get what I'm saying? They'll make up anything to try to justify what they want to do. And the fact of the matter is they all stick up for each other in that whole particular scenario. We know how the police are. You get what I'm saying? They'll know that they got somebody on the force that have 38 complaints. They done been doing all these negative things to people, and then something will happen to them. They'll yell a cold blue, and they'll tear a city up somewhere looking for people who did something to a cop that they know is out here violating people like he wasn't supposed to get that back on him. You get what I'm saying? Like they know. And it's the same thing. It's no different than a gang. And that's the disrespect, because the only difference with a gang is that they go out there and at least make their own money. We pay
to be brutalized.
To be everything. Like we give you, like we're paying you to do this harm to us. Like that's the disrespect that I'm talking about. That's what makes it disrespectful. It's not so much that we got to deal with it. Like I told y'all, we got to go to them like this already. It's the fact that we just paid for you to do this to me.
Yeah,
like literally.
He just came out of jail for this.
Say that again.
I said he just came out his job for this. Like I allowed him to go to work. He went to work for this. And the thing about it, I think what hurted me the most is I watched the narratives that they gave on TV. And I was that parent that would say, "Don't you come in here talking about Black Lives Matter and you out here hitting these officers." And I felt like the police had to go home. All these years, they blinded me. I thought that what they said on the TV was true until I watched them give an entire lie. And so my son only came to you because he was trained to come to you. Okay, you got an aggressive situation. Oh, my mama's gonna take me if I do something wrong, or if someone's out here, my mama said you gotta go speak. He came out of his job for you because he was taught to do so, and
Wow.
you still murdered him. I don't get it.
And
This has taught me something unbelievable.
so was that the initial story that you received? How was the news given to you when all this happened? Did the job call you, or did somebody close to your son call you and tell you what happened? How did you find the news initially?
My son was shot at about 11:30. Based on a police report, I didn't receive a call till after 3:30 from someone at the job to say Eric had been shot. When we got out to his job, about 4 o'clock, I asked, "Was my son there? I've heard you guys have shot him." They told me, "Ma'am, he's not here." I said, "Well, where is he?" "I don't know where he's at." "Go find him. Go check Grady. Go check Southern Regional." They gave me 2 hospitals to go check while they had the team blocked out, but they already knew they had murdered him 4 hours ago.
Wow. Wait, hold on. So you mean to tell? Wait. So a person could get shot, and then with the police in that county, wherever they are, this is the scenario that happened, but they don't know where he was taken to. Like they can't give you the right and told you to go find it, and this is your child you talking about?
That is correct. They told me to go find them. I went up the street to one of the corner stores, and the guy told me to go to the police department where the dispatch office was and to see where did they want him to. So I had to go to the police headquarters, and the dispatchers had to tell me where they sent them to. So we got to the hospital. We were notified at about 7 o'clock, and the GBI came in that he was murdered. From
So from
11
11.
o'clock that morning, 11:30 that morning, till after 7 o'clock at night is when I was notified that he was murdered.
So the whole day, you just thinking your son at work like a normal day,
Yep,
a
I had a
normal.
nervous breakdown, though, and I never knew that it was bad. They said my son died at 12:17, and never I went through the time that he was dying. It happened at about 11:30. I was at work around the time he got shot, and my body, I just began to cry. I didn't crank up my car till 12:18. The death certificate said my son died at 12:17. I felt every bit of his death and did not even know it.
Wow. Sheesh. Sheesh. And that goes to like this thing that is real when it comes down to the connection between parent and child. It's a different level of a connection to your children, and then it goes back to the people who say, like they'll have young girls missing and stuff like that, and then they'll say to mom, it'll be years, and the mother is still, nope, she's still alive, and people will be like, what you mean? No, no, she can't. Like, no, she's still alive, and then like 2 years later they wound up finding her somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole time she was still alive, but that mom knew, like, that connection that some parents have to their children is crazy, and it's major, and it's not a game, and I think people have to take that into consideration. But what was disrespectful to me is that you, as a taxpaying citizen yourself, walk into the police station, only to be given no information, but giving you uh like a treasure hunt, put you on a treasure hunt for something that's so serious as that. Like the death of your child. You're inquiring about your child, not inquiring about a story or something you heard. You are inquiring about your child, and that was the response you were given. And I just feel bad that that's how you were greeted with that particular scenario, and you had to go all day before you even knew.
Well,
And
take
and
this.
nobody.
I wasn't able to see my child for 2 weeks. He was murdered on November 21st. I wasn't able to see my son to the day before I buried him. I'm thankful in a sense. I said, God, maybe you didn't want me to see him in his condition, And so I couldn't see my son. The GBI kept his body for almost 2 weeks. I had to go out to the GBI every day. I stood out there every day. I told them I wouldn't leave that building until they released my son's body. It was almost 2 weeks before they even did an autopsy on him. I never ID'd his body or anything like that. So for
What?
2 weeks, literally, I was waiting on my baby. All I knew was he was dead. I had to go through Thanksgiving not seeing him. I I just knew he was dead, and I was begging for my baby. And I said, "Where is he?" One minute they were telling me he's at the coroner. The next minute at the the medical examiner in Clayton County. The next minute they would tell me he's at the GBI. And then they said, "Okay, go make funeral arrangements." And go make funeral arrangements, thinking they're going to drop his body off at the funeral home. And he was like, "Oh, we're just doing an autopsy. Give me a few more days."
But they doing an autopsy on a gunshot? Like what?
Well, they,
What? What would the why? Okay, so from my understanding, I mean, correct me, y'all, because I know y'all, with any of y'all, just jump in if I'm wrong, because but 9 times out of 10, when they do autopsy, is to determine the cause of the death, right? Not when they know a cause of death, right? They do an autopsy so they can figure out how this person passed away, died, or whatever, whether it's toxicology, whether it's, however they got to do it, whether it was
Or if
drug.
they have questions like, what were they drugged? Like if like if there's question of suicide or homicide, like that kind of shit. But he
not
was shot.
not seeing like a person is shot, knowing that this is the cause of their death, and they're saying, "Yo, we're gonna do an autopsy." Like
exactly, because they want to find anything. And
There
he
we
didn't
go.
have a bad toxicology. He had a low level of marijuana in his system. So he didn't have anything. But the point of them doing these autopsies, if they can find anything to justify them, they're taking boys' brains out. We had the Mel Harris brain down here taken out. So anything they can find to say that they're not wrong, they're gonna cut you open. They're gonna find it. The autopsy revealed that the bullet wound to his back was the one that killed him. So it was great that they did it because it determined that it was the gunshot wound to the back that killed him.
to his back, but okay,
So he was
but
walking.
wait, so was he going away? Like,
He was going away from the officer. The officer broke the code protocol by shooting into a moving car. Actually, it was the first bullet that made Eric move. They had a 10-minute conversation after. If they release that full video to you, you're going to see about a 10-minute conversation that him and Eric had. He allowed Eric to go sit in that car. Why would you let my child get in a car that is saying it's stolen? Why are you going to have a conversation with him? I would have took it better if my son came outside and you said, "Oh, this car is stolen," and you slam him on the ground and say, "I'm going to arrest you." And then you're going to find out eventually the car is not stolen, but guess what? He's alive. Not this car is stolen. I'm going to have a conversation with you, which the reports tell y'all that we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm going to let you go sit in the car, and I'm going to sit in my police car. And then I'm going to come with a gun drawn. Get out the car. Get out the car. And now I'm going to shoot. And that first bullet is when the third went.
and that's why I was saying earlier. It just sounds like all like a setup. Like it just sounds like it was purposely done. Like that was the way that it could be done. Like that person was said to themselves that day, "I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna do something to some. It don't matter who it is. I'm gonna do one of these today." Because that's what that sounds like. Because in the event that they said that the car was stolen, first of all, why would they let him get in the car if it's stolen? And if it's stolen, he has the key. Why wouldn't they just take the key, get the person that they saying on the phone, let's figure all this out, let's make sure it is, and just arrest the guy? Why let him get in a car that you said is stolen, and then you shoot through the car?
And in a car while standing on the side of the vehicle when it's pulling forward. If he was to go off or pull off, it's going to go forward. You're nowhere in the sight. That's how the officer got started murder charges. He was all the way wrong until the DA was proved that she sat over that rainbow house while those kids were being molested.
And see, that don't got nothing to do with the jump off.
Seven
Like,
Right.
you
charges. How do the
right, like,
chief say you wrong? The GDI say you're wrong. The Office of Professional Standards say you're wrong. The DA and the prosecutor say you're wrong. Give you 7 murder charges and then let you up.
and they make really, and you know, see, situations like this is what makes like people who really do their job for real, because you know there are cops out here that really do their joints and they don't be out here on that all that garbage. And then you got these guys that all do these type of things that make it look bad for all of them, because hey, at the end of the day, if you don't speak up against it, it just still looks like y'all all together in cahoots anyway, even if you are a good cop or not. The point is though, like everything that's about your that what happened with your son, it just seems like something that a person did on purpose. Like they wanted to do that. Not that that was something that just happened that day, but they wanted to do that, and it just so happened to be your son that they did it to. And that's why I feel, the most like that's what got me right now feeling the worst, because you know it was like a eeny meeny like a rant, like it could have been anybody. You get what I'm
He was
saying? Because
ready to quit. He was ready. He put
you
it on Facebook. The officer said the night before he murdered Eric, I've come to thee. What deed did you come to make you get up in the morning and commit a murder? I don't know. He also put on Facebook September the 21st. If you guys were to look, his Facebook is still open. I don't know whether he's taking it down. I hate my job from the depth of my soul. It's days like this that I want to say F it. He told you on a live video that he don't like his feelings being hurt. He don't know about anyone else, but he don't like to be vulnerable, because if you're vulnerable, then you leave a doorway open for your feelings to be hurt. And I don't know about anybody else, but if you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna hurt you. I mean, like physically. And I'm an officer, so people can call the police, and I can go to jail, and I can lose my job. Verbatim. How do you guys not see that? This man just did a live video telling you that if he gets angry, he's going to hurt you physically, and he can't do that. He was a ticking time bomb, and they let him get away. You guys knew that on September the 12th, 2 months before he murdered Eric, when he beat the man up that couldn't even hear or speak. You guys knew that when he took the man's phone, and I have the record showing when he took that man's phone and went deleting information out of it. He's had 2 lawsuits against him already. He's wrecked 3 company vehicles, said that he fell asleep. One time he had inmates in the car, totaled the vehicle over $19,000, and they had to get the inmate medical care, but this guy still got a job. Why is it? Is it because the chief is his sorority brother? His fraternity brother? Is it because of that? Because it looks like it's a big fraternity group out here, and all you guys are just covering each other. The congresswoman is the part of the sorority. The state representative is part of the sorority. The DA is part of the same sorority. The mayor that she just let go for pulling out a gun on an officer is part of the sorority. So I'm facing a big sorority system. I'm facing the biggest game that I never knew, and I tell them. I call them out. I said, this is a game. All of you are letting each other go. And the problem that I have with that is if you're going to say my son stole a car, which he did not, but had he stolen a car, I need him to be held accountable and to go to jail for that. If you would have sent him to jail for that, he probably would have never been again. What I can't accept is the chief's son having 2 armed robberies. And I want you guys to look that up. Chief's son had 2 armed robberies in a 3-month time. He walked out on a $50,000 bond and the opportunity to go stay with his grandmother. All of this is in records. You know why? Because he had Keith Martin as his attorney. Do you know who Keith Martin is? Keith Martin was the same judge, the same DA, the same, over 43 years of work, the solicitor in Clayton County. He was told back in 2012 he was not to defend any more cases due to a conflict of interest. And he has let everyone walk in. So go look at the chief of Clayton County. Go research it. Say, what happened to the chief of Clayton County? They're going to tell you that he put a tracker on his wife and mistress' car, stolen from the narcotics department. They're also going to tell you he had guns stolen out of his watch. Ask yourself, what is the chief? The chief is now the chairman, been the chairman for the last 8 years, and he's also running for sheriff right now.
Wow.
The same guy put trackers on his wife and mistress' car, stolen guns from the department at the same time that his sons committed armed robbery, both of them. It's ridiculous. And the problem that I have, if our sons can't do it, if my son is at work and come outside and talk to you and he's dead, why is the chief and the chairman and the sheriff and all that getting away?
Man.
They're black. All black. All black.
What?
The officer black. The DA black. The chairman, chief, all that. All this is all black. All the sorority sisters black too. Everyone black.
This like a little town, like a little.
It's a large
backwoods?
town. Yes. Okay, so you know for that place that you're talking about, Fannie, right?
Yeah.
The Fannie Willis you're talking about, she's from Georgia too. So
Mhm.
Georgia's just corrupt all the way around, tied in all the way around. But Clayton County is a large little city, and they just been getting away.
Wow.
Most of our parents down here are paid off. I never knew that it was 104 people before my son made 105. If you would have told me that 104 had been shot in Georgia and mine was going to make 105, I would have been said something. I would have known it was 104 individuals shot in Georgia before it became my sons, and I would have had that discussion.
And okay, so that changes things too. That is crazy. So who we have on the line right now? We got a friend to the show, man. He's doing a whole bunch of work right now on behalf of a lot of moms that's dealing with some things, man. We got John Barnett in the building. John Barnett is a civil rights activist, but he also does so much for the people, more so than just speaking out for them, right? So I told him a little bit about your story before, and I think I sent you his information when we talked a while back,
Yes.
Miss Holmes. And so I asked him to come on tonight. He's busy. I know he's been in South Carolina tonight dealing with a different case, but so he jumped on because what we want to do is based on the things that you said, we want to get some information out. So Clayton County, he's very familiar with stuff that go on in Clayton County. There's been a bunch of stuff that he's had to deal with dealing with that. Like it's a bunch of stuff that dealt with the inmates down there. Um, it's a lot of stuff going on down there. He's familiar with that. So John, what's going on, man?
Peace and blessings. How's everyone doing?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Everybody? We good. We in the building. You know, we chopping it up with Miss Holmes here. And so just to bring you up to speed real quick, what's going on is that her son was murdered by the police at work. Like he was he was at work. It was a report saying that it was a stolen vehicle. But you know, whenever it came down to it, they figured out that the car wasn't stolen and all these other things. They allowed her son to get in the vehicle, only for them to shoot him in the vehicle and kill him. So,
Inside the vehicle.
mhm.
What city?
It's Clayton County.
Clayton County, Georgia.
Yep.
Notorious.
Yeah.
I was in Gwinnett County, 2 weeks ago, trying to assist a young man in court who's just literally sitting in jail. And then a couple of months before that, I just gave an attorney, a Muslim attorney. As a matter of fact, he actually represented Lil Bootsy, the rapper. His name is Kenneth Muhammad. I gave him his first inmate jail case out of Fulton County. So inmates every 2 months is dying inside the jail, not the prison, but the jail. Last year they had about 11 deaths. One of the clients, our client, they said it was cardiac arrest, but luckily the family had a few pennies in the bank to do an autopsy, and we found out he was strangled to death by the 18-year-old cellmate. He was about 36 years old. So
Wow.
George is getting pretty gangster as it relates to violence. North Carolina has 31,000 inmates. South Carolina has 27,000. Georgia has 41,000. So when you see those numbers, just deduct 70, 80, 90%. Well, I should say 70%. And that means it's all black.
Exactly.
And so the first thing that needs to be done, I guess, in a case like yours, and I'm sorry for your loss, my sister. How many children you got?
I have another son. I have he just turned 18 years old. So Eric was just my baby
Okay.
boy. He was my oldest boy. That was my me. Yeah,
Okay.
that was my.
I've been talking to a therapist, and the therapist is actually a cop that I got terminated for choking a young lady in the club. A couple of years later, he became a counselor, and ironically enough, we kind of made amends, and now he's a counselor for my organization. Picture that, bro.
I know.
Cop I got fired is now a counselor, and so he talked about psychotherapy and he talked about counseling. So I don't want you to make sure you neglect the fact that your son is still living, is not traumatized by his biological brother being deceased. So I definitely encourage counseling for him.
Yeah, I
They
have
said
him
on
on the counseling, and I did so as well, and it's sad that we have that mentality that when someone say something is wrong, it's almost like you have to prove to us why we deserve to live,
Mhm.
True.
Yeah, that's
and
true. So
True.
since then, have you met with the police, you or an attorney? Because when there's a wrongful death
yeah,
case.
it's a wrongful death claim. They're suing the entire county because they had already received notification that the officers should not be on the force. They failed to do that. So the entire county is being sued. Let me tell you guys what happened. I had a state representative that was buddies with them. Tricked me. I never knew that she was not supposed to represent me in the state. I didn't even know she was a state representative. She called me 2 days before the deadline and said, "Oh, Miss Holmes, I'm not going to be able to stay on the case, but I'm going to do this report for you, and I need you to go drop it off." And she filed the paperwork wrong. Thank God an attorney picked it up right away and was able to go in and edit it. She tricked me. And so I
What,
said the
what
corruption is so sad.
Man.
what's the date of your son's death?
Date of death is 11/21/22.
2122. 2122. Okay. What you
And
said 2122?
yeah, 11
11/21/22.
Okay,
November.
11/21/22. Okay.
And you know it's
23,
crazy,
24. Okay,
though?
so you have 4 years, as you know, but wrongful death
Okay.
never dies. So, do you have a meeting with the sheriff? Or is the sheriff or the
I done had a meeting
city
with the
clerk?
sheriff, with the GBI, with everything. So I'm that parent that now is in the hot seat. Which they know they got to be held responsible because they've already all admitted guilt. The sheriff admitted guilt. Everyone admitted guilt. But it's like under my baby name, all of the corruption came out. So with that being said, I'm pretty much on the hot seat for the entire state because I've been everywhere. I've been at the governor. I've been my son every day that since he has died. All I know how to do is fight. I've literally fought every day. So I've reached everybody at this point that I could that's over the county, all of the state reps and all. It's one state rep, Eric Bell, that's trying to work with me, but the rest of them are all sorority sisters with the DA.
Okay. How you have an attorney right now?
Yeah, it was a attorney down here that took over the case, and an attorney. She came out of Pennsylvania. She's gonna ride on the case with them.
Okay. So right now you
So
just
they
kind of
just picked it up.
okay, gotcha. So you just making sure you're gonna prove them wrong. So you had a meeting with them. Nothing came out of the meeting other than they felt
7
sorry.
charges, off the back 7 charges. I met with them from the beginning. He was charged automatically, fired automatically. Well, he was fired after they let him do his firearm training because he failed firearm training before murdering my son.
Hmm.
He was not certified to even carry the gun. The week after he murdered Eric, they had him do firearm training. He passed, and they fired him immediately.
Okay. Have you is when an officer shoots someone, the SBI takes up. Have you been in direct contact with the SBI?
I just started
DBI?
with the FBI because they was telling me, "Oh, we got it." I had two lawyers to hold me down. One was a big firm, and I didn't realize she was friends with the DA until she told me, "Oh, Miss Holmes, I forgot to mention Natasha about Eric. I was up there with her for somebody else." And
Mm,
they held all this information from the beginning. They knew that the officer was not supposed to be on the force or any of that. They just never said nothing. So I didn't realize attorney brutality is just as bad as police brutality.
and they shot him inside the car?
Yes, yes, sir. They
And
shot him inside the car.
did he have handcuffs
You
on?
can look at the video. The video is out. His right hand is on the steering wheel. His phone was in his left hand, and I always think, was he trying to call me? But his phone was in his left hand. His right hand was on the steering wheel. The officer's gonna say that he tried to grab for a gun. However, based on the EMS report and the witness report, the EMS said they never seen a gun when they got on the scene. So how
Good.
did they not see a gun, but he tried to grab a gun on you? And how did he try to grab a gun if his right hand was on the steering wheel and his left hand held the phone?
Yes, that's
Exactly.
He never
senseless.
dropped his hand. It's all on video.
I think
And
that
and not only
one of the
that,
reasons.
check this out, John. Like let's not skip this part. The person that was working the case where he got the 7 charges, the reason why the charges was dropped was because they were involved in something that was over a child molestation scenario, that something was brought out on them. So because that was brought out on them, all the cases that they were dealing with were dropped. So his charges were dropped under the fact that the person that was prosecuting him, the DA, I guess, they um they were caught into something else that was going on. So like the same scenario, like with the Fannie Willis type scenario.
So I know it
He
sounds
got caught
redundant,
in the midst of that.
and I know it sounds redundant. Did you meet with them after? Did you meet with the I guess Georgia got solicitors. You got DAs in some cities. Did you meet with the solicitor or the DA after the decision to drop the charges?
Oh, she won't meet with me anymore. Yeah, like
Gotcha.
she's been caught up in so much stuff. She's on the FBI investigation right now. Chris Carr investigation, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. I don't know how far that's gonna go because they're her buddies. But that's why the FBI I got them in because I'm like, this is a buddy system down here.
Yeah,
And
and
if we don't get anyone on top of it, we're gonna all lose.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Last 5 cases I won, we won them through exposure and keeping that person's name in the public's eye, similar to shows that Brother Raw has here. And so I can only give you the blueprint to what has helped us. If you look at George Floyd, the reason they punished him, I'm certain that Ben Crump went inside and told the DA, if you don't charge this cop and send him to prison, they're gonna burn down your city. And I'm not certain of that, but I got an idea. He gave them some type of idea that there's a force on the outside that if you don't charge this cop, after us watching George Floyd die with his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 50 some seconds, that it's not going to be a good look for the city of Minneapolis. In Fulton County, I don't believe we would have been successful with the case if we hadn't staged a press conference and threatened a justice rally. And they immediately released the information, and we found out that he was strangled. So I think what sets your case aside and shines a light on it is that exposure is needed. You need to demand that that DA be removed. We did that in Mississippi with Michael Jenkins being shot in his mouth. Next month, I can't wait to get to Mississippi. I'm gonna watch 6 cops go to prison on March 16th, 17th, and 18th. 6 for shooting a man in the mouth. And we filed for a $400 million lawsuit. So when people say you can't win, I don't know nothing about that. Michael Jordan has a quote. He
Amen.
says, yeah, Michael Jordan has a quote. I love it. I'm not a big Michael Jordan fan. he has a quote, and the quote says, the quote is, fear is an illusion to me. And so when people say that you can't do this and do that, I see the total opposite. So especially in Georgia, I think it's important that you stage a press conference in front of the DA's office, do some type of exposure, call the media out, and let them know we want to know why she dropped the charges. Because these cops are getting off left and right.
That's what I need help with. It's like fun, like we've been exposing and things like that, but it's over so long. Police brutality is a thing they don't want to hear. Even your
Yeah,
family and everyone else, they get tired. And I guess with me, they're like, well, you keep going. And I'm saying that I can't stop. I told my child it was 7:45, Eric, time for work. He said, I'm going, Mama. I never seen my child after that.
mm,
He was a custodial father. Um, I can't stop. And if
yeah,
I tired everybody out or they're tired of hearing from me, I don't care. You took my son. What you want me to do?
Right.
yeah. I'm gonna have to get my brother Ra here, some counseling because I believe the last 15 shows, Mika, correct me if I'm wrong, it's all been death. Correct? You know that scripture that says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of death." And to my other brother, how you doing? It's just
All
death.
2024.
That's like that's the topic of your show. Black people
Well,
getting
look,
killed.
this the thing. I always said to myself, man, I wanted to make a difference. If anything, I wanted to do something, right? Like, anybody can create a podcast. Y'all know how that go, man. It's a bunch of shows out here, man. They all talking about the same thing,
Yeah.
or something in the sense of when it comes to us being on camera. It's a bunch of arguing back and forth, separation going on. The fact of the matter is, man, like even with the direction of this platform, man, I'm just allowing it to take its own course, man. Sometimes you gotta allow your purpose to outshine whatever your thought process may be. And yeah, I thought maybe this would be great to be entertaining because we're entertaining people, but I mean, there's people suffering from things in the world and they just don't know, they don't have nobody to allow them to get their story out.
That's right. That's right. You know what's funny? You said that because thinking about what your show does, and everybody and all your hosts, and peace and blessings to everybody on the show. But if Club Shay Shay, watch this. If Club Shay Shay was to do a show like this, he would be canceled. You hear what I
Early,
just said?
early.
If Club Shay Shay did one show like this instead of buffoonery, dealing with Monique, and they beefing with him right now, saying that he might be gay, and he had Cat Williams on there. If he was to do a show like this, I think he just had Usher on there a couple months ago. If he did a show like this, he'd be canceled because he's informing the masses, and he's really not had a serious show. So it's important. Minister Farrakhan, he didn't say nothing else. He said you're supposed to use your gift to uplift your community, and then secondly, uplift the world, like whatever gift that is. And so, in saying that, I appreciate you for this is probably the most unrecognized show, but it's an important show for me. And that's why I stopped what I was doing tonight, dealing with all these clients to come on. But I encourage the mother that I'm coming back to Georgia. You ain't far from me, 3 hours. I will show you how to stabilize a press conference. You need to lock down. Find me a Black Baptist church in your city, and you need to do a justice rally hosted by you on behalf of your son. And you bring other people to come in and just speak about their issues, but it's hosted by your son. You invite the media out. So every time you need to make sure they hear your name the way we hear Breonna Taylor, the way we hear George Floyd, the way we hear Trayvon Martin. Trayvon had people buying Skittles and hoodies. I did a march. I did a rally in Charlotte. It was 1,000 people showed up. And they told me 3 days later, this is the largest attendance ever. Not so much of what I did. I said, I didn't know that. But what I realized was that name rung across the whole world. And so
You
it's
know
up to
why?
you. Go ahead.
Because CNN told you to say it. If
Mm-hmm.
CNN tells you to say it, if these big people are going to start backing it, you're going to know that name. If
Mm-hmm.
CNN don't tell you to say it, and we don't have big activists behind us, we're just put to the side. But when
You're right.
CNN says, hey, you guys, this happened to them, the whole world jumped in. Oh, CNN said it.
You're right.
But if
You know, it's
CNN
funny
don't
you
tell
said
you,
that.
you don't fight.
It's
That's
funny
why.
you said that because there's a song by Jay-Z and Neo, and it's on his Black album. It's the last song on the album. And Neo sings this hook and he says, if you don't see the bodies, if you don't see the bodies in Katrina on CNN, then nobody will recognize this. And something in reference to the Katrina catastrophe that went on. And he basically saying, if you don't see it on CNN, you don't even know it exists. And so I think it's important that you ain't got to always have CNN. You got TBN, I think, down there in Georgia. But I think it's important that you just got to keep penetrating the case by exposure. I did something dramatic. You know what I did in Mississippi? See, one thing, if I didn't learn nothing from Reverend Sharpton, he said that James Brown sitting in the car with him, right? He's sitting in the car and they just chilling, right? And Mika, they sitting there and they talking, and Reverend Sharpton is just frustrated because it's 1991 and crack cocaine has taken over New York City and in the projects, and black folks are just smoking crack left and right. And he asked James Brown, man, I need to get the message out. Crack is killing us. And James Brown said, you need to do what I do in soul music. And Al Sharpton asked him, what is that? He said, you got to do two things, which has made me the godfather of music or godfather of soul. He said, you got to be loud. You got to be dramatic. So I started thinking about that. I said, when you look at Bobby Brown stepping out of the ranks of New Edition, he became popular because he was loud and he was dramatic. Muhammad Ali was loud and dramatic. Ric Flair, Charles Barkley, Howard Stern. These guys are loud and dramatic. We don't forget them. You know why? Tupac, they was loud and they was dramatic. And so whatever you got to do something different that nobody else is doing, then I suggest you do that. Whatever you come up with. Shanquella Robinson case had died in Charlotte as I close. And I said, you know what? What's her favorite color? The mother told me pink. And that's the young lady, of course, that died in Mexico. I said, let's send some pink envelopes to Joe Biden and let's send some pink envelopes to Mexico. 2 weeks later, I was in D.C. standing beside Ben Crump.
Man.
Off of a pink envelope, y'all. I didn't know it was going to happen. I just said, let's just send some pink envelopes. And because I remember where Reverend Sharpton taught me, he said, be loud and dramatic. So you got to get loud and dramatic. And I think that's what's going to bring your son's case to the forefront.
You know what else we need? We need our own CNN. We need our own scenarios and our own places where we could get these things out. And then we need to make sure that we can continue to fight even afterwards. So that's why platforms like this, and it may be a few others out there, but hopefully they'll come across as they look at the shows that we put up and allow you guys to come on and give you a story, because you're right. People not going to know unless we put it out there. And in the event, like I said before, we know the power of social media. Social media is a very powerful tool. We all just have to utilize it. That's why I say for me, I'm gonna always do my part. When we have these shows, we go live, and even after the show, we clip them up and I put them out. And we make sure that we keep the word going and we keep these people's name out there. And regardless, it may just be on my platform, so to speak, or my page and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, for anybody that's been a guest on this show, they can always have some type of something that they could use to spread the word about what they got going.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
right.
It's very important that we allow people to continue to come on here. And you were right, fam. I do deal with shows that's been dealing with a lot of things that's involving death, but the deaths that they've been involved in been dealing with the lives of people who have all been a contributor to society. That's why it's so important. I can't even sit up here and take it personal like that and be like, yo, show going morbid. I can't do that. I have to be like, yo, wait a minute. The children that these things are happening to, when the breakdown comes about, you be like, wait, they ain't do this? Oh, they wasn't in no gang? Oh, wait, hold on. We have a Cara on the other day, and it's like, yo, wait, her son, they was in a wait, and they went and did what? And he ain't do. And you find yourself in a position where, yeah, you may be thinking that it's negative because it's death, but I feel positive, man. Like I feel energetic that people choose this platform to come on, because we be bugging, John. Like if people go back
to on stories we never heard of, I would have never heard of these stories otherwise.
Think about that.
That's true. Let me ask you this: why did they drop the charges?
We need to know. Oh, hold on. What you say? What you say, John?
I'm sorry.
Well,
I didn't mean to cut you off. Why did they drop the
he said
charges?
why they dropped the charges.
Yeah.
So
Your
what
camera
I
off.
heard was it's
Camera off
one
too.
of those things where they bring the charges up, and if the DA does not present the information that she needs in order to get that indictment, it's not going to go through. And another thing that I also learned that was weird to me was that you say the grand jury is private, right? This is a group of private citizens. But when you look at it, this is a group of citizens that know you officials. This is a group of citizens that are looking at that whatever this charge is, that's going to be their tax dollars. So if you don't bring in the information that you need to bring in to present the case, and in this case, we know even with the officer that raped the young lady on the way to jail, was found guilty by the GBI, his charges was dropped. Even the officer that shot the guy inside of the annex building, which is the courtroom, over a tablet in his hand, his charges was dropped. So out of 189 officers in this county, you have one that has been charged.
Wow. Wow.
One.
Clayton County.
189 total, one that has been charged. And the DA, her cousin, who was fired from Clayton County, all over that Victor Hill mess, and that goes deep. It's a lot of corruption. She actually brought up that the DA say that if you do not present certain information to the grand jury, you won't get an indictment back. What she did not present to the grand jury was that the officer already had 2 prior uses of force, and that the officer also wrecked 3 company vehicles, totaling out 1 vehicle with inmates in it, that the officer had previous DUIs, that he had previous family battery, aggravated assault. If she would have brought up the truth to the jury, no way he would have left. You brought him in there
Mm-hmm.
like he was an innocent officer. We're not allowed in the courtroom, so you have the officer in here with the citizens of this county and the officials of this county.
Wow.
Wow.
Yo, we gotta figure this out. So all right, so we know now that the one thing that hasn't happened in as far as what you have done so far is a press conference, right? So we feel like we got to figure out a way. Well, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to connect you to John. I'm going to connect you with Miss Holmes on online, and then hopefully you guys can come together on some things, or at least be able to pass the information along that's needed, because it all coincides. Because like I said, I'm gonna have a show. I'm gonna have all the moms that we've been talking to so far on, because I think too, just for support, you guys should, have means that you can communicate with each other, right? Because
Yeah.
at some point, when you're going through something, very few people can relate. Now, people can, sit up here and say, "Oh, I don't know what I would do or what they would do if this was them," but they don't know what it's like to actually go through it. And being that you moms have gone through it and going through it and are all still fighting, and it's not one of y'all that's not still fighting. I think it'll be a good thing for you guys to get together and just be able to have some communications and stuff, and be able to encourage and uplift each other, because we can do it, but it's nothing like someone that's actually going through it with you, and so we're gonna do that. And I know
Okay,
to
I
me,
got mothers for you too, so I'll can send them over because I deal with a lot of mothers from the state of Georgia and around the world. So I could send them over to you guys too, especially those that we know. Like not every case is going to be a case where the police was wrong, and we understand that, and they also have to make it home too. But in
right,
cases that they're just taking our lives too quickly, it's not fair.
not at all. And yeah, you can send them through. Like, people got stories and they need to get them out, send them through. We're gonna work it out, because at the end of the day, like I said, what better way to contribute or to help, but to
Mm-hmm.
allow people to get this stuff out, because like you said, we don't have our own CNN, and maybe Sparking Conversation can be that, for people, that they can get this stuff out, and we can help continue to push it. Because like I said, if it happened to me, and I'm sure for the rest of the crew up here, if it happened to us, we would want people to rally behind us. We will want
That's
somebody
right.
to do the least thing, share a video, make a video, let people know that I'm dealing with something. And if you wanted to feel like it's something that you wanted to support, here's something for you to jump on. And I feel like that's mainly important. Because even now, like even you, like as a mom, and it's I'm very particular because I always be wanting to ask where the dads are. The one
His
reason why I
dad,
do
his
that
dad is in jail. Let me tell you, his
oh,
dad is in jail, and
right.
and this is what I have to say to them. You call us fatherless. You say our homes are fatherless, our kids are fatherless, but the truth is you're taking most of our men. If you're not killing them, you're locking them up. But his dad and his son, he went to jail. He said, I can't be on the street. I don't know what they expect. I can't be on the street and this man done just killed my child. He went to jail 2 weeks after my son was murdered and sent himself there. He said, I would just rather be here than to be
Wow.
out there. And I face that every day. You
Wow.
ask us to be parents. We're used to being parents all of our lives. I took care of my baby. That was my child. And I let go my youthhood because I was 18 when I had him, but I let it go to try to do what you guys say. Okay, what's supposed to be done by the book, right? You put
Mm-hmm.
him in the park, you keep him out the streets. Okay, he was in the park from 3 to 15. What else do you want? Okay, they need to go to work. He was at work. So I forced myself to, because at this point, I'm like, what kind of justice do you guys want? I mean, because I'm still his mother. Like, you're asking me to stay out here and not want to hurt anyone, but someone has hurt my child and he's on the street with 7 charges and 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that, that's why I say, it's one of those things, right? You want to ask. Like I said, the reason why I don't ask is because of those scenarios right there. At these particular times, when it comes down to us, being represented, it's that narrative, even with the dads. So we try our best to make sure that we're all represented and stuff like that. That's why us as men, like I like Kev, me, Kev, and Meek, like we 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 say to ourselves, and I know there's a stigma, you know, um, that black men don't protect their women, black women, or we don't support y'all. So the purpose of the show is to change that narrative, right? Like we can't continue saying that we don't because we supporting. And
That's right.
even when y'all sleep, we supporting y'all. And even when other people are forgetting it and dying down, even when the family is tired of hearing it, I'm still supporting y'all. I'm still promoting y'all. We still are at it. Once it come through me, I mean, we still go. Like you could look up 3-4 months from now, you gonna see yourself like, damn, they really still pushing it. Like, yeah, we still pushing it. Like, we not gonna
Mhm.
stop. So if you're not gonna stop, we not gonna stop. So
That's right.
I'm thankful. Oh, I think she had a connection scenario, so
Mhm.
she'll come back on in a minute because we about to close. But in before we do that, like I said, John, I'm gonna connect you with her, and then
Okay.
at some point you guys can kind of set up something and get a press conference or a rally going, to where she could. That's the one thing that she has that's missing. And then I'm gonna set something else up. So Meek, I'm gonna get with you in the background because I'm sure this is gonna be a great way for them to journal the journal this going forward. Uh Once we connect all the moms that we've been talking to so far, right? How they can help
Absolutely.
create this type of support group. And then hopefully, John, when we do that, and then Kev, we could come together and we can have some sort of panel where we can get these groups of moms together and we can have a
Mm-hmm.
live, and then from there market it and market it to a way where we can try to help build this for all the people who are dealing with this across the nation. Create a movement of
That's great.
support.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great idea.
So
They
I
call it
want
the
to do
mothers
that.
of they call it the mothers of mourning. I heard that Trayvon Martin's mother, Eric Garner's mother, Michael Brown's mother, and Tamir Rice's mother. They like talk almost weekly, but they come together, I think, annually. And the group is called the Mothers of Mourning. So it's a support
Gotcha.
group for one another.
Well, we're gonna have to start one too. You know, we'll
Yeah, that
figure
would
out
be
a
great.
different. Yeah, we'll figure out a different name for it. We start one. We'll start with what we working with, and I know it'll grow. The sad thing about it is that the way that it grows is the tragedy keep growing, and we want to make sure that that part is what we could try to get a little grip on, and then the people who already dealing with it, let's get them some help versus it just adding on people new because they're dealing with it fresh. But we all know with the way things are going, that might be the case. So sometimes we got to get in front of things, right? Let's get prepared. Let's get
That's right.
prepared. Let's
Oh,
not be this no more.
that's right. How old was your son?
19.
19. Wow. Yeah, they chopping us down early.
19 years old. Everyone, every child so far, every child of the moms that we talked to so far that they've been dealing with have been young adults.
Yeah, they said the number one killer of black men between 18 and I think 25 is
25.
by the hands of another black person. That's sad.
25.
They're not down to old age, not cancer, not not what is it? Colon cancer.
AIDS or none of that. And
Yeah.
you know it's so sad in this case, like we talking about in Georgia, like, yo, listen, this ain't even about white or black. I mean, well, a racist thing. These are black people that did this.
Hmm. Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So even those that look like us ain't for us.
All
Say
That's
that.
right.
skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Say that again, Kev. Say it again, Kev.
I said all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
That's
Facts.
real, Kel. That's real.
And but we have the responsibility of trying to help our people as much as possible in all aspects. But then again, we're faced with that same scenario that Kev just said. All skin folk ain't your kinfolk.
Yeah, we are down at a rapid rate. I mean, I ask myself one day, how many more black people? How many of us have to kill each other? Like when is it gonna end? Like we just killing each other, dying out, and it's daily too. It's stuff that we don't see. Somebody got shot in Compton tonight, probably Chicago. We're angry. There's a spirit of anger going on in the black community. Ain't no love at all.
Nah.
Farrakhan said, you look at another black man and you just want to just kill him. You looking at your brother. Elijah Muhammad taught Malcolm them. Every time you look at a black man, you looking at God. Well, they
You know what?
killing God right now.
I just thought about that too. Like we why y'all say that because real quick, I don't want to go too far on this, but Jam Master Jay, right? We know that he was killed about how long ago was that now, y'all? Probably about
Eight
12
eight
years,
years ago.
eight,
It's been a
10
minute.
years ago. All right. And so now it comes out that the person that did it was his godson.
That's right.
So you you would expect that things would happen to people from people who don't like you because of something that they can't get from you. Not from the people that can actually get stuff from you and they
That's
still
right.
don't like. So we faced with some weird stuff. What's
Man, that
wrong,
was
Cat?
2002.
Hmm.
That was 22 years ago.
That was 20 something years ago, yo, that this happened. Like
How long
Jam Master,
ago?
He
he
died in
been
2002, brother.
2002. Yeah, he was murdered in
Fine.
2000. 20
Wow.
years. 20 something years, 22 years that this has gone on, and just to come to find out that after 22 years, the person that did it was someone that was just
His
was
family. I
yeah.
mean, if you look at that eerie picture of Nipsey Hussle and the guy that shot him, they all took a picture together. They was all in, I guess, a rap group or whatever the case may be. They were all in one clique.
So you think about it, yo. So it's a couple of things that we can equate it to. We just can't prove it because that's the thing that we don't have a lock on is science, but we will get there one day. But either it's in the food or it's in the air. But something is affecting us in a way where it's out of control. Anger is like that's the new love right now is anger.
Hmm.
People love to be angry, and it's weird. And so while we are doing that, these other communities are coming over here from other places and they just racking up everything. But that's
That's
another
right.
show. That's another
Another
show.
show.
Well, all right, so we gotta go. I think Miss Holmes, her connection was kind of in and out tonight. She was traveling. She had things that she had to do. She was moving in about. So, um, if any event that any of the audio was too distorted for the people that's watching, we'll have her back on another date so we can really get down to some of the things that may have been missed. But I think we got some good information from her that we can get this word out. Also, John, thanks again for jumping on at such short notice. I know you've been traveling. I know you was in South Carolina today. I know we got
Mhm.
the show next week coming up with the young lady that was drugged by the bus driver. We are going to, if nothing else, we're going to be the platform that changes the narrative on what it means to have a headphone and a microphone. You know what I'm saying, in front of you. We're gonna change the narrative of that.
Mhm.
Because as much as we might want to go back, I know I do. I be thinking it all the time. Damn, I want to laugh again. I ain't been able to laugh on the show
You know, I love laughing. That's my favorite.
in about a month, yo. This is
Been
not.
eating no food. I'm trying to be serious. I can't eat. I'm just trying to
And I
be
want and look, and I
focused.
want to talk to my man with the one hand too. We could figure that out, John, and we could work something out like with that. My man with the one arm.
Okay. Okay. I can
That guy
definitely
was
get him on.
yeah, I want to talk to him, man, because I think his story is something that a lot of people, if they hear it, they can avoid it because the people with
Mm-hmm.
two arms, you get what I'm saying? Like if a
Yep.
man with one arm could get blamed for something that a man with two arms do, then the man with two arms need to really pay attention.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right. You're exactly
So
right.
we need to work that out. So at some point we'll chop it up and we'll work that out. But all right, so to those of y'all that was watching tonight, thank y'all, man. There's a bunch of y'all that jumped off and on. Thanks for everyone for the comments tonight. Uh, I really appreciate the love and support that we get just here on the show each and every week that we jump on. So thank y'all. So before we get out of here, John, what you got coming up next? Anything coming up?
Tomorrow, I'll be in front of the courthouse in Conway, South Carolina. I'll be releasing the video of the bus driver, Italian bus driver, that allowed a black girl to have her arm being lodged inside of the door. And he's driving down the road on video with this young lady. He was fired from his job, charged, and then they dropped the charges on him, just like they did the mother earlier. So tomorrow I'm going to be demanding that they bring the charges back. So tomorrow will be pretty interesting because we're releasing the video. It's all on video. You can't hide it. He actually, she fell asleep on the bus, and while she was asleep on the bus, she walks to the door, and he tells her to get off on the stop that's way above her house. He opens the door, and she sees a dog. Don't want to get off. They talking to her for like 2 minutes. Get off the bus. We got to go. We got more stops. So he gets frustrated and shuts the door, and her arm is lodged in the door. Then he backs the bus up about a block and a half with her arm still in it. She's begging for the arm, for him to let her arm out, and he doesn't do it. So he gets back to work and gets fired. He gets charged for physical conduct toward a child. And mysteriously, last September, this was in August, they dropped the charges. Civil case is still wide open, but no charges for this Italian bus driver. So tomorrow we're going to release the video and encourage the solicitor. In the backwoods of Conway, South Carolina, which is sad, no black leadership, probably 60% black, but no black strength. It reminds me of Conway, South Carolina is like South Africa. You know, you got 10,000 white folks that's running 1 million black folks. And the reason they can do it is because they get their mind. Once you take their mind, it's a wrap. They totally take control of everything.
I just had this conversation today with somebody. I was telling them about how we be the majority in so many different cities, yet we're not in none of the legislative offices in that city to help us with anything that we need. We always looking for somebody to give us something. I hate it. I just had this conversation with somebody today about that, and that's why I don't know. I'm a forever pop shit on this platform because that is something that we cannot continue to tolerate. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I promise I just
You
had
good?
this conversation about that today, man. And
Yeah.
and I was specific about towns and cities, especially around here. I was specific. These people come, they not only because they build their temples and everything here.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? They become
Yep.
like councilmen and all these other things. They the ones that's getting the budget in and they creating budgetings for themselves. They open up the same type of restaurant in the same shopping plaza on
That's
two
right.
different selling the same daggone food. And
Yes.
both doors is open and packed.
Yep. Fact.
So it's just different. I'm being particular right now who I'm saying based on things. I don't want people to think I'm trying to be racist because I'm not. I'm saying in the event that these people do what they supposed to do, we should learn from that. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, Kev, what you got coming up, Kev? What's up, y'all?
The band got 2 shows this weekend, Friday, Saturday. Still working on some other things, man. Just keep tuned in.
Yeah, it is. We know that y'all working, man. We seen that the band got a couple things going on. So I know y'all out here getting it popping, So that's a good look. Meek, what's up with you? What's going on with you?
You know, I'm always busy. I'm always working on something. I got a million ideas in this head of mine. I just got to get them all out. So I'm working back with my coach, trying to get some things in order. Hopefully have some journals published soon, get them out there, some streamlined stuff. So yeah, I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working.
It is.
I spoke at a black church and I used your planner at both churches. I spoke at 2 churches Sunday. So I appreciate that planner. Good luck.
Yes.
You make sure you send me that cash app request for Miss Coca from last week.
Oh yeah. Have her get in touch with me. I haven't heard from her, so I don't know what to put. I
Okay.
don't know what to put.
I'll make sure she call you in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely. So without further ado, all of y'all that's watching, thank y'all so much. And as far as what we got going on, just be on the lookout. We got a lot of content. Y'all follow the page. We have a lot of content dropping. We have a lot of new skits dropping. A lot, you know what I mean. Plus, we building and we filming and we getting a lot of things together. It's just so much coming up this year, and I want y'all to just stay connected and just stay with us, man. Because, like I said, we're going to continue things and we're going to continue to grow, and we want y'all to grow with us, right? So, double salute to y'all. Shout out to everybody that took the time out to do comments tonight. We definitely
Yeah,
appreciate you.
Stephanie's definitely listening tonight. So shout out to Stephanie McGinnis.
Yeah, I see her in the building, Steph. You know that's you next week. We got you on next week. We're gonna talk to you, with this whole situation involving the young lady in the door and the bus and all that. We want to make sure we get that out. She jumped on, but we're gonna have her on next week, and it's gonna be fly. And not only that, I want all the people to know, like these people that we be having on the show. Just if you can, man, go follow them. Show them a little love and support. Hit a little like on a video or a heart or something. Or what's the one that the heart, the emoji that hold the heart?
Care. I care.
Yeah, hit them with a care or something, man, because y'all, I'm saying, it could be you. So sometimes emojis work. I know in other instances it could seem, insensitive, but then there's times where sometimes just sending a person an emoji, letting them know that you're thinking about them can help them in so many ways, versus the words that you may come up and say. You know what I'm saying? So please, y'all, all of y'all that's watching, y'all go back, y'all see the clips of the people and the moms and stuff that's dealing with these things, y'all. Just show them a little love, y'all, for real. Because I wouldn't know what to do to think that I was coming home and my little one wasn't gonna be there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you, because the way he be directing my life right now, there's no way that I can look up and not figure out that he not gonna be there and that's every day. I'll be somewhere sick, yo. So again, shout out to the moms. Y'all are the strongest in the world. I'm just gonna get out. I'm gonna give y'all flowers, man. Y'all the strongest in the world, no matter what color you are. Let me put that out there too. You know what I'm saying? All right. So until next time, man. Y'all know what it is. I'm your boy Rob One. This is Sparking Conversation. I was about to say Showtime, Carolina. This is Sparking Conversation. And until next time, man. Y'all hold it down out there, man, and just don't ever forget. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will.